Good evening. My name is Stephanie Chipman. I'm Vice President of External Relations here at Illinois College, and it's my pleasure to welcome you tonight to this exciting sneak peek for our Crispin renovation. We have a hybrid event tonight, which means about half of our attendees are here in Dunham Auditorium and half are online. And it's an exciting opportunity to talk with all of you, both in person and through Zoom, to have this early conversation. In 1829, our founders brought an enterprising vision to the Prairie that changed the face of education in our region. As we move boldly toward our bicentennial, we renew our pride in Illinois College's long and important history. That bicentennial also reminds us once again that we are called to accelerate our impact on this region and empower students to change the world. So this Insiders event has been designed with you in mind. As leaders within the Illinois College community, we want you to be among the first to know about our exciting plans for the complete renewal of Crispin Hall. The story of Crispin could easily be titled The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Phase one is absolutely the good. In planning for tonight's event, we knew we had to hold it in the beautiful Dell Class of '72 and Lisa Dunham Auditorium for two reasons. One, where else would you hold a conversation about Crispin Hall? There are approximately 30 of us here in the Dunham Auditorium, physically distanced, and appreciating the beautiful and inspiring space that represents phase one of this renovation project. The Dunham Auditorium is an absolute testament to what is possible with this renovation. The second reason for hosting this event from Dunham Auditorium was an imperative need to make this a hybrid conversation, with some of you attending in person and some online. The state-of-the-art classroom in which we sit includes the cameras, the built-in microphones, and the 8 screens that surround the perimeter of this room that brings learning into a collaborative and alive moment. For those of you who have not yet been inside the renovated auditorium, or those of you sitting here tonight who need a reminder on just how far we've come in phase one, let me show you a brief before and after shot. On the left, you'll see the 1963 auditorium many of you sat in as students, and the beautiful Dunham Auditorium that exists today. The difference is striking. Gone are the blackboards, replaced by whiteboards that circle the room. Gone are the rows, replaced by furniture that moves with students from small groups back to classroom discussions. Gone too is that stationary case at the front, blocking professors from their students. Now those professors move about the room, engaging with individuals and with groups. And the list goes on. This room is rarely empty. After classes are done for the day, it's full of student groups, study pods, and special events. Phase one has been a huge success. And now we must turn our attention to finishing this project to address what is bad and what is ugly. Because there's power in space and in place. As you see tonight, it is time to align Crispin Hall with our vision to inspire student achievement and empower them to make a difference in the world. And I can't wait for you to see what's ahead. Tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce you first to Carson Durham, the principal architect with the architectural firm BLDD, who will show you conceptual drawings of the space. You'll also hear from President Farley and the chair of the Board of Trustees, Steve Mills, who will talk about why this project is so important for IC and how we're going to make it a reality. Along the way, we want to introduce you to other voices through video presentations. In any good story, you start at the beginning, and that's where this first video begins.
If you walk around campus, you see one of the most beautiful college campuses that you're going to run across. It is stunning. When you see Crispin, you think one of these things is not like the other. I taught a first-year seminar last year in one of these classrooms, and I was embarrassed, you know, that these students, this is their first exposure to college, and we had window air conditioning running, and they could barely hear me.
Crispin Hall is not part of the admission tour when somebody comes to visit Illinois College prior to enrollment. And yet, because enrollment is strong right now, we're using every bit of campus for our classrooms, which means that there are first-year seminar classes happening in Crispin Hall.
3/4 of our students have a class in Crispin in any given semester. The fact that it has become dated is a challenge for us. It's not a space that inspires.
They come in and they see dingy ceiling and rusted metal on the walls. It just doesn't help their morale, I don't think. They don't picture themselves being the best they can be in a space that's outdated.
Good evening, everyone. As I was introduced, my name is Carson Durham, and I'm a principal of BLDD Architects and the lead designer for this very exciting project. So can I raise it?
Don't walk away from it.
Okay. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about the potential that you have in front of you in terms of this tool that is for student learning. And it truly is, that's what these projects are about. It's about creating the best type of tool so students can be their best. And this building that you see, even though it is considered maybe ugly, it has great bones. From an architectural standpoint, it is the type of building that we highly recommend being renovated in the way you're going to do this. And you can see from the renderings, with a little bit of creativity and a little bit of design intent, you can take this building, which looks like a 60s building, and turn it into a collegiate type of style of building. So this is an image from the entrance that is really the part of the building that faces the street. It's the front door of your campus. And so our thought here was, can we transform it so it fits into your campus? So it's no longer the last place you would bring students, but the first place that you would bring students. And it's the thing that people drive by and see. So that was the intent so we're completely reskinning the exterior of the building. So providing new architectural elements as well as new windows to make the building can last you another 50 years in terms of its impact on students. So this is one of the images. We're also introducing a new plaza that you see in the foreground there, as well as new entrance doors as well. So a really welcoming type of expression relative to architectural design. Did it change? Oh. It's not changing. Do I need to poke this somewhere? And so again, this is the other side of the building. Again, we're mirroring that same type of architecture. The other great thing about this side that we're doing, we're introducing a new entrance from the parking lot. One of the main advantages of this building, it'll be fully handicap accessible. So all levels of the building will be accessible by everyone that comes into the buildings. So this entrance here is not shown yet, but there will be a handicap ramp, if you will, that will get you from handicap parking into this new entrance piece. And once you get in the building, you'll be able to access an elevator that will take you to all levels of the building, which, as you know, is not capable of doing that nowadays. So through this process, we have been engaged with the administration as well as faculty and staff to make sure that we're creating the tool that they need at their fingertips. And it's not some architect coming here saying, this is what you need. It's really been a collaborative approach to both in terms of need as well as academic excellence. So I want to start on the first floor of the building. So the first floor of the building has a mixture of different types of things. So it is the area where the psychology department will be. And so it has a mixture of offices that are sort of designed specifically for faculty. There is also spaces for students. So the yellow area that you see there is a place for students to engage outside the classroom and outside the office environment with professors and with instructors. There is basically 2 new sets of men's and women's toilets. We also have gender neutral toilets, as well as an elevator, as I spoke about earlier, that goes from one to every single floor of the building. And there are specialty labs, specially designed with special furniture and special technology that aids with the psychology department for today. Sorry. And so on the main level, the level that you basically the second level, but the main level of the building, that is where the general classrooms are. So there are all types of rooms just like you are sitting in here. So they will be filled with technology and filled with the appropriate types of furniture so that students can create a lecture environment if that's appropriate, or they can create collaboration. So it's really a multitude of different size and shape type of rooms so that you can adjust the curriculum to match with that as well. And so again, very much this floor is very much general classroom. There is a specialty lab on this floor as well, a computer lab, if you will. Again, that computer lab is different than just a bunch of computers sitting on a desk. It'll be the ability to have flexibility in those rooms. So the key to all of these spaces is really technology, smart rooms, and flexibility. And this level is this is the math and physics level of the building, and one of the neatest spaces on this level is actually what we're calling like a maker space. So it's a room that is located, there you go, that room that is there. The interesting thing about that room is that's a space where students both in math and physics can come together and experiment on different types of things. And so it will have a virtual reality machine in there as well. And so that's in that location. That's also a place that will be, if students just want to come and study together all hours of the night, if you will, that is going to be the space for that. There's also just a regular physics lab that you would see in terms of traditional physics. And then there is an advanced physics lab, which also allows for advanced work to take place so that students that may have a specific project that they want to work on a long period of time, that's where those spaces, that's where those activities will come. So as I've explained, this is a 3-story renovation, including the exterior, that is extremely specialized in terms of its intent, in terms of the ability for students to learn. And it also has lots of technology at the individual student's fingertips.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad you can be with us this evening, whether you are in the room in Dunham Auditorium, or you are joining us virtually. Hello to everyone. Carson, thank you so much. And thank you to BLDD for your work. We can all dig into those designs by looking at a handout that we have in the room that we can make available to everyone who is here. It's such an exciting time as we think about the departments that will be housed here: physics, psychology, computer science, mathematics, engineering. It's just an amazing opportunity for this campus. As you can see, these designs are infused with the needs of students and faculty who will be using these spaces for years to come. Now I want you to hear directly from several members of our faculty and administration in this next video about how Crispin Hall impacts their work.
We love our disciplines. We're proud of them. And when we have the adequate resources to show them off, we can do amazing things.
We want to hire top-notch faculty, and they have research that we really want to be associated with Illinois College. They need to feel comfortable that they're going to have the space they need to be successful in that, not only to execute the research itself, but to attract students to, sort of assist with that research as well.
And the faculty who choose to come to Illinois College want to work with undergraduate students. They want to provide those transformational experiences that set Illinois College apart. And the spaces in Crispin after the renovation will make that possible.
And a better space, creates a better mindset. You feel like a professional if you're working in a professional environment. You can imagine if you have a prospective student, you're given a tour, you say, and here's where we do student-faculty research, especially if the prospective student sees a current student working on something advanced, something that the prospective student doesn't understand. That kind of whets their appetite a little bit. They say, wow, that's impressive, that's cool. And if you have a poor building, I hate to say it, but the research does suffer.
You are hearing in tonight's videos from my wonderful IC colleagues, Provost Catherine O'Connell and Dean of the College, Evan Wilson, who is our Dean of Admission and Student Financial Services, and Drs. Jeremy Turner in Psychology and Dr. Josiah Coons in Physics. I hope you noted those class years behind the last three people I mentioned. We are so thrilled that our alumni are back on the hilltop and they're sharing their gifts with their alma mater and the students they meet every day, our future graduates. And I'm very, very pleased that Dr. O'Connell and Drs. Turner and Coons can be with us tonight. And so those of you who are here in person, I hope you will engage them in conversations about what they're excited about in this amazing project. I'd like to add to their perspective why I believe this renovation of Crispin Hall is crucial to the success of our students and the college. When Crispin Hall opened in 1963, it was the college's science building, the college's science building. Everyone here tonight, virtually or in this space, who attended Illinois College has had a class in this building, without exception. When Parker Science opened now 20 years ago in 2002, it became the home, the new home to biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. Well, now let's fast forward. Last year, Illinois College added a clinical Bachelor of Nursing program that we chose to locate in Parker Hall as part of our biology program. We have outgrown Parker Hall. These majors are thriving. Our science majors are thriving. Illinois College has an international reputation because faculty in these programs are taking students around the globe to study a variety of disciplines. And not to forget the psychology department. The psychology department is currently located in the basement of Baxter Hall. Now, I'll ask you alumni what you remember about what was happening in Baxter Hall when you were a student. Psychology is one of our most popular majors, and it has outgrown its current location. in terms of the amount of space that's needed and the capacity for research. My colleagues in psychology have been enormously creative and patient, but it is time for them to have the space that's needed. So one of the headlines tonight, friends, is that sciences at Illinois College are thriving. We have outgrown our current spaces, and we need to add to Parker Science in our portfolio of excellent buildings. We need to reinvent Crispin Hall. Illinois College has 3 strategic imperatives: student success, strategic growth, and sustainable foundations. The Crispin renovation project supports all 3 of these strategic goals in substantive ways. And let me give you some examples. First, student success. At Illinois College, we talk about being a student-ready campus. Our focus is to make sure we meet the needs of each and every student who graduates. As you heard from Provost O'Connell and IC's faculty, Crispin Hall, outside of this beautiful Dunham auditorium, Crispin Hall as a learning space is completely ineffective and, quite frankly, does not represent the standards of excellence at Illinois College that all of you expect and that our students and faculty deserve. Second, strategic growth. You heard from Evan Wilson, our Dean of Admission. Illinois College needs to and is expanding major offerings to attract top students to the Hilltop, including programs in neuroscience and engineering. We also need to expand and strengthen top majors like psychology and computer science and explore new majors like data management. Currently, the computer science department is in the lower level of Kirby. I will tell you, we moved them a couple of years ago to make room for other needs in this building on a short-term basis. And we need to bring computer science back to Crispin. They are being patient as well. Having excellent academic learning spaces in both Crispin and Parker is simply essential. These majors that I've described attract high-achieving students, and we know that we can grow enrollment and strengthen our overall academic profile as a college with the continuing growth in the sciences. And as to that third pillar of sustainable foundations, investments in capital improvements support the future of IC through strategic growth and student success overall. The pandemic has expanded options for how we teach and how students learn. This renovation of Crispin Hall, Phase 2, will meet these new needs for enhanced technologies in the classroom, like the virtual reality lab that will be on the 3rd floor. This renovation will provide flexible spaces and active learning environments that allow students to break into small groups, come back together, disband again, come back together, and also to create faculty-student research spaces that support IC's burgeoning student-faculty research collaborations. We have been emphasizing in our strategic work the expansion of experiential learning. Faculty-student research is part of that, as is internships, studying abroad, and community engagement. The national literature is clear. Technology-rich spaces that allow for this kind of collaborative and active learning from faculty engaged in mentoring students makes all the difference in the capacity of students to be successful, both while they are on campus and when they graduate. Before the pandemic, I would have been standing in front of you saying that flexible learning spaces rich in technology are the ideal. It's what we've been striving toward. Post-pandemic or amidst the pandemic, these technology-rich spaces are an educational imperative, and we cannot be left behind. After opening in the summer of 2019, Dunham Auditorium was truly vital to the success of students and the college during the quick pivot to online learning during the statewide shutdown in March of 2020. We, of course, have invested in other classrooms and technology across this campus, but this space has the most advanced to date. And we needed it as our faculty began to prepare for a new period of their teaching careers, and one that brought both difficulty and great promise, and we will build on that. Our promise to students is that they will graduate ready. They will graduate ready for personal and professional success. And I have to say out loud that we are not yet fulfilling that promise through their experience in Crispin Hall, and that has to change. Let me turn again to my colleagues and ask them in this next video to offer their perspective on why now.
We are focused on a complete renovation of Crispin Hall. It was built in 1963. It's the old science building, and we need it to be the next science building at Illinois College.
Yesterday I met a student over in Parker, and I had to say, well, the building I work in is being renovated, blah, 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 and I just don't feel like we made really an impressive physics connection. If we could have a designated area that looks like an engineering space, that would tremendously help, make a connection with that student, really solidify, hey, this is where you're going to be. Isn't that cool?
Being able to see themselves in an innovative and inspirational space is sort of the last link to allowing those students to envision themselves here. And I think that's what this opportunity with Crispin really allows us to do.
We've got to show them spaces that are in the 21st century. We've got to show them environments that help them justify, this time and energy and commitment to us. We have to be able to, show them what modern teaching and learning looks like.
It's extremely important that we embark on this renovation now, because we're in a moment of great challenge in terms of attracting good students to Illinois College. We need to show those students that it's worth it for them to come to Illinois College.
And now it is my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Stephen Mills, class of 1977, who serves as the board chair, Board of Trustees, and he's going to offer his perspective and the board's perspective on why Crispin Hall renovation part 2 is an imperative. Mr. Mills.
Thank you, President Farley, and good evening, everyone. And I'd like to add my thank you to each of you who are attending this event tonight, either here in person or via Zoom. You've heard the details about the Crispin project, why we're renovating the building, why it's an important project, and why we want to do it now. When we launched our $50 million Inspiring Achievement fundraising campaign, now nearly a little over 7 years ago, we had a handful of priorities. We wanted to bolster our scholarship funds. We wanted to provide significant additional funding for faculty support. We wanted to fund experiential learning for our students, internships, global studies, student faculty research. We wanted to increase direct student support through increased giving to our annual fund. And we needed to invest in 21st century learning environments. That's why we're here tonight, because in our fundraising campaign, Crispin is the focal point of our physical building needs. When we look around campus at our main educational spaces, we're really in pretty good shape. We have modern classroom and lab space in Parker and Kirby, and we have our historical buildings, such as Sturtevant, where we've recently renovated some of the classrooms. But for my former IC alums, when you step into Crispin Hall, you're taking a walk back in time. Other than where I'm standing now, which I still remember as the lecture hall, it's now the beautiful Dunham Auditorium. But otherwise, Crispin is basically the same building that my wife, Betsy, and I took classes in nearly 50 years ago. I can close my eyes and see Professors Mann and Pilcher and Filson And I'm sure that each of you can visualize many other professors that you had classes with in this building. It hasn't changed much. And it's aged a lot. So the trustees have determined that it's time to renovate this building, so our faculty and students can have the 21st century learning environment spaces they need for today and beyond. I often think of the history of Illinois College, nearly 200 years old now. And for those 200 years, generous friends of the college have provided the financial resources that it is needed to build buildings, support programs, and educate students. Each generation has had to step up to ensure that IC will continue to educate the following generation of students. It's now our turn. Individual trustees and senior leaders of the college have already begun investing in the Crispin project. And now we are asking you for your help. Maybe you would want to honor a professor or mentor from your days on the hilltop. You could help fund a classroom, a lab, or a faculty office. Any and all help will be appreciated. But you can also help us by spreading the word about this project to friends, classmates, and other potential contributors. Any doors you can open to help us with this project will be greatly appreciated. So thank you again for joining us this evening, and thank you for continuing to care so deeply about our alma mater. And now we have one more video we want to share with you. Then President Friday will wrap up the evening. Thank you.
Really, for the college to move forward to that next level and to be competitive amongst other institutions for the next generation, the college needs to make some investments.
Without donor support, I'm not sure the Crispin building is up to code to match the future. I mean, there's rebar exposed outside on the stairs. It's not handicap accessible at all. We have a student in a wheelchair this semester. She's a freshman. If she were to take physics, she could not get to my office hours. I would have to do something else.
I know that many of our alumni had really transformational educational experiences that took place in Crispin, not because of the space itself so much as the wonderful interactions with faculty members. And I still hear stories about those faculty members and how they changed people's lives.
I would encourage you to make a gift to the Inspiring Achievement Campaign for Illinois College to play a part in positioning Illinois College for the future and to provide the facilities and programs that current and future students need at Illinois College.
It's going to make such a difference in the lives of our students and our faculty and the ability of the college to continue to provide an excellent transformational education to our students.
Thank you, Chair Mills. Thank you to my colleagues in the videos, Provost O'Connell, Evan Wilson, Dr. Kuntz, Dr. Turner, and thank you, Stephanie Chipman, for opening this evening. I appreciate their perspectives and I'm so lucky to work with all of them. I want you to know that I too am deeply committed to making this project reality and am dedicated to making that happen in the months ahead. As Illinois College's philanthropic leaders with a deep commitment to the success of our students and the growth and sustainability of the institution, I echo Mr. Mills's request. I'm asking for your help in making the dream of this project a reality and positioning the college for greater success as we inch closer to our bicentennial in 2029. As I say everywhere I go, Illinois College's vision is to build an international reputation that inspires achievement and empowers students to make a difference in the world. Inspiring Achievement, the campaign for Illinois College, is and has been laser focused on raising funds in support of this bold vision for IC students and the college's future. To date, alumni and friends have contributed over $43.5 million in support of scholarships, experiential learning, etc. Capital improvements to the Bruner Fitness and Recreation Center, improvements to Shiwi Library, classrooms in every academic building, Crispin Phase 1, and thank you Del Dunham and Lisa who are joining us virtually, and the immediate needs of our students through the IC Fund. I'm proud that we have already reached 87% of our $50 million goal, but we're not stopping. We are going to drive to that 50 million and we're going to go beyond it in the final leg of this campaign. We're going to do that with your help by identifying donors who want to make the completion of Crispin Hall a reality, a jewel on this campus about which we can all be proud. The cost of completing the interior and exterior renovations is over $11 million. This is a significant project for Illinois College. Had we been together this evening had we been together in the fall of 2018 in this space, as you saw from photos that Stephanie Chipman showed us, you would have been sitting in broken chairs in the dark and wondering why you were doing this. Today, I want to echo all of the wonderful comments that have been made about how special the Dunham Auditorium is to all of us. It's important because it's changing the experience of students, it's changing the experience of faculty, but I think it's really important to say that it has launched the capacity for us to reimagine Crispin. Reimagine Crispin as a place we will call the newest home of the sciences, or a return to home for the sciences. And I thank the Dunhams and the major donors who contributed $1.2 million to make this first phase possible and launch that creative imagination for our campus. So what's the plan? Our goal is to break ground on phase 2 in May of 2022 and to reopen the entire building in August of 23. We need your value, your input, and I value it. I want to know, after being part of this evening tonight, I want to know your reaction to this project that we've described. And I'd like your ideas about how you think we can expand our message and expand our reach so that people who want to be part of this project will join us. I have asked members of the development team to reach out to you to ask for your input and your advice. I hope you'll take their call and have that conversation because it will shape what we are going to do in this next leg of completing this important building project. This project is vital to our future. As leaders among the Illinois College community, your voice is critical. I'd like to take some questions about Crispin Hall. I hope you will ask any question that's on your mind. We have experts in the room who will be able to help to answer them. But before I turn to questions, I'm also extremely happy to announce tonight that currently $250,000 in funds from generous donors will serve as a challenge grant to kick off the next phase of fundraising based on the plans revealed at tonight's sneak peek. You are the first people to see this live and in person. So let me stop there and ask if we have any questions in the chat or if we have any questions in the room. Taylor, are you managing the chat?
Oh, Jeremy is, but I have a question.
Yes, Taylor.
How long will construction take?
The construction will take about 18 months. And Carson is giving me the thumbs up that I've got that right. So we need to get ready for that, right? We do still have departments in this building. Although we've been working to move people out, I am very happy to announce that, for example, our education department that has been in Crispin has just moved in the last month to a new home that Illinois College was fortunate to take on thanks to a generous donor. And it is the house next to the Alumni House on Mound Avenue that will soon be christened the Becker Center for Teacher Education. So the education department has just moved. And we have the business office is here right now. Our IT team is here. Computer science, physics is here as well. So we're going to have to find spaces for everybody in that 18-month period. And that will be another layer of the planning process.
Dr. Farley.
Yes.
I have a question. Are you able to expand at all on what types of technologies will be added to the classrooms?
Jeremy, you are the perfect person to answer that question. So let me introduce Jeremy Hamowen, who is a lead person in our instructional technology work. Jeremy, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Stephanie's telling me to go up, but I'm monitoring the chat back here. So I know some of the things that we've talked about are obviously continuing to have large spaces for either projection or large monitors like in the Dunham Auditorium here to make it easy for students to be able to see in the classrooms. Having speakers, we've even talked about adding into the room's microphone systems so that the sound can be heard to a student who's all the way in the back of the room from the front and consistent sound amplification. Adding items like smart touch screens or projectors in which you can annotate right on top of your images, right on top of your PowerPoints, Excels, spreadsheets, all of that stuff, including some of the advanced research spaces in all of the departments. So whether it is the physics, advanced computer labs, the VR space, the advanced computing lab for computer sciences, or even items like the wet lab for the psychology department and some of their, I wish I could remember all the cool things that they're planning to put down.
I'm going to ask Jeremy to come my way because I think he can give us a little bit of an insight. We'll just take a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Jeremy, thank you. Dr. Turner.
I didn't know this was planned, but yeah, so the floor that psychology has, one of the key things that we'll be doing in there is a lot of neuroscience work. As was mentioned earlier, we're starting a new neuroscience major this fall. We have our inaugural group of 6 or 7 majors right now, meeting with them every week, and they're fascinating kids. So this is a relatively new discipline in the world, definitely new at Illinois College. And the space that we're using will allow us to do brain dissections, for example, spinal cord dissections. It'll allow us to do electrophysiology work. So we are equipping the space, and we've already started down this road with some really fascinating biopack equipment. It allows us to measure brain potentials to discover what's going on under the surface of your fat skull, and a whole range of other things. So our students will get hands-on experience with some cutting-edge technology so that they have what they need to get entrance into graduate schools and medical schools and everything that now requires a really thorough understanding of the brain. So
thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Turner. Are there any last questions? Yes, Jeremy?
I have a couple more back.
Yes, please.
Kind of jumping off of what Dr. Turner was mentioning, what new majors will be possible because of the Crispin renovation?
It's wonderful to have all of my expert friends in the room. I'm going to ask Provost O'Connell to please come forward and say a word about the growth of the academic program. Provost O'Connell.
Thank you. As Dr. Turner said, we're very excited to be launching neuroscience as a new major. We are also, this is really up to the minute news. We are working, Dr. Kuntz is helping us work on exploring the possibility of an engineering science major. We have a lot of students, prospective students who are interested in engineering, and the concept of pre-engineering is not as compelling to them. So that's a really important area for us to explore. And then in terms of computer science, as the president mentioned, data science is a really important direction, and that's something that we're going to be looking at. And part of what's so exciting about this renovation is it will bring departments together. On the top floor, computer science, physics, engineering, if we go that direction, mathematics, they'll all be together in one pod, and so that we get a lot of collaboration possibilities and new potentials for curriculum development will emerge from those collaborations. And with neuroscience, biology, and psychology are already partnering really, really productively. And so we're very excited about that.
I have
Jeremy?
another one for you here. I think Dr. Frawley, you'll be able to help us answer this one
Sure.
as well. Does the $11 million include furniture, fixtures, and equipment?
Yes, it does. It does. It's a big ticket, friends. So we have a lot of work to do and excited about it. Anything else, Jeremy?
I've got one final question here that I see. Will all the science programs be moving to Crispin?
No, they will not. Biology, chemistry, nursing, all of our health sciences programs will remain in Parker Science. So we are expanding our footprint for the sciences on campus. Thank you. Thank you so much for your questions. We really appreciate it. And as you hear from us, please ask other questions that come to mind, because we'd like to be thinking through what is top of mind for everyone as we move forward in this project. What a night. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us virtually. Thank you for being in the room. I look forward to celebrating the ribbon cutting when we open Crispin Phase 2. And I look forward to celebrating the completion of Inspiring Achievement, the campaign for Illinois College. Thank you all very much.